Hey guys, my name is Simpzy. How you all doing? Welcome to the start of a brand new campaign series here today on the channel. We're back on Empire Total War Definitive Edition. We're on the Darthmod submod. We're going to be playing as the Kingdom of France here today. We're going to be playing as Louis XIV, the Sun King himself. So, if you like the sound of that, feel free to leave the video a like, subscribe if you're new around here with notifications on, let me know in the comments, feedback and suggestions for the series and where you'd like me to expand and conquer. I'll put in the description below Darthmod if you guys would like to download it and play along with me. If you don't like Empire or me for whatever reason, feel free to leave a dislike. We're going to be going a long campaign starting in the 1700s as Louis XIV. Now, the last time I played Darthmod on the channel, some of you were aware I had some problems with it, and thank you guys in the comments for bringing it up as well. For some reason, when I played Darthmod last time, the mod must have broken. There was some aspects of Darthmod still there, like the background, like the value changes, but I think when I updated my computer, the mod broke. So I fixed it, it's all up and running, we're playing proper Darthmod this time around, which is fantastic. I love the mod, I can't recommend it enough, but realistically, it hasn't been updated since like 2012, 2013, and as PCs and updates have gone on, I had massive problems trying to install it, and I have read as well, so especially like Windows 10 now, trying to get it running. But regardless, I hope you guys enjoy my French campaign.
Your first priority should be to bolster your armies through recruitment in order to adequately patrol France's extensive borders. The Alsace region to the east could be under threat. The inhabitants are largely German speakers, so Prussia or Austria may try to take it back in an attempt to forge a single German empire. However, a protracted land war with either of these nations may prove unwise, despite the strength and reputation of the French army. The territories of the Holy Roman Empire to the east are good Catholic populations under the corrupt yoke of heretic Lutheran masters. As such, the territories of Rhineland and Württemberg are potential targets for a Catholic French army wishing to bring the true religion back to the faithful. Also, look to expand your foothold in the new worlds of America and India before the British colonize both continents, therefore becoming too powerful to keep in check. There are still unexplored native territories on the American continent, although the Spanish have begun expansion in that direction, so time is of the essence. In India, the landscape is changing. The old Mughal Empire is starting to collapse and lose territory to their Maratha rivals. The British, Dutch and Portuguese are all active in this theatre, so you should make alliances and secure territory before they do. Make trade agreements in order to sell your colonial resources. Open as many trade routes as possible between France and her colonies, and patrol routes against attack as much as possible. An alliance with Spain may also be fruitful, acting as a counterbalance to the current British monopoly in America.
Rightio then guys, let's get stuck into the French campaign. Never played as the French on Empire Total War before, so this is going to be an absolute blast. So, there's a fair few ways we can go about this French campaign. Let me know in the comments, you sort of Darthmod connoisseurs. I do dip my toe and dabble into Empire, just because I crave the time period often. I just love fighting with muskets sometimes. It's so cool, and it just looks really cool, the combat as well. So, we're playing as France. We currently have an absolute monarch as our king, Louis XIV, the Sun King himself. We currently have territory in France, the Americas, in Upper and Quebec, Canada, along with India as well, and in the Caribbean. So if we can continue our colonial expansion, that'd be great. One criticism I do have with France in Darthmod and in Empire is that France itself only has one territory, so we have to protect Paris with tooth and nail. We do have Strasbourg over near the German border. I'll move my gentlemen into my universities to get that research buff as well where we can. So the main objective of this series is to forge a grand colonial empire to rival that of Britain. I would love to liberate the United States, allowing us to sort of help and free them. That'll be quite cool because we are starting in the time period where the 13 colonies are under British occupation, and I think we should bring liberty to the States. We could even as well have our own revolution, as we are an absolute monarchy. We could look to having a revolution, which can happen in Empire, which is quite cool. You can do it with Prussia. You can actually become the German state and have the German flag. So maybe at some point we should have that. Alliance-wise, we've got an alliance with Spain. Louisiana is currently our protectorate. So at the moment, we're not at war with anyone. I've made the decision to start at an early date rather than later because you do get ganged up on quite a bit. So we'll try and trade as best as we can with the 13 colonies, still under the yoke of England. But let me know where I should focus my military might. Depending on who sort of war decks us, we'll just have to see. We do have the Dutch, we do have the Spanish in Belgium. We've also got the Germanic states, such as Württemberg, are quite close to us as well. I would kind of like to maybe go on a sort of Napoleon-style conquest and take most of Europe while trying to maintain and get a foothold in the colonies. I want to try and expand in the Americas into Iroquois and Native American territory from Canada. I also want to try and keep an eye on India as well because it's such a wealthy and resourceful territory. So we're going through here just trying to get as much military alliance as well. Peter the First, Peter the Great would have been a fantastic person to get a military alliance with. How about Poland and Lithuania at this time period? For 1.3, we'll accept that. So the Poles and the French allies once more. If we could get some of those winged hussars or Polish cavalry in our mix, I'd love that. We want to try and strengthen our position as much as we can, more or less as a deterrent. Allies are quite good in Empire as a deterrent, so the more we can get, the better. We've also got trade rights as well, now with Maratha, Sweden, Savoy as well. We still are at war. Denmark... Right. Okay. Why are they so willing to sell Iceland? Right, so after that negotiation with Iceland, we would have had to pay a massive amount there for it. We probably wouldn't have ever made it back and probably would have bankrupted us. To be fair, they have what? Copenhagen? Norway? They probably need to build up their forces because Sweden in this time period is, well, incredibly aggressive. They've even got some Russian territory in the Balkans and Finland. So we'll go through and try and get our army built up. I quite like 4 units of artillery. Mostly the rest just light infantry and like 4 units of cavalry or so. So we're currently trying to... we don't have Corsica under our control in this time period just yet. Okay, so we'll try and strengthen throughout. We'll build an army in France, ready to either start a war on the continent, and we also want to try and protect Upper Canada and France as well. We do have Fort Nashwauk in Arcadia, and we've also got the Windward Islands in the south. We've got Newfoundland. Really? The French own Newfoundland at this time period. And we have French Guiana down in Brazil, which is good, so we should be able to expand from there. Let's go through what we can upgrade. Farms, cotton, industry, where we can, and we'll focus on upgrading France first before the colonies, because at the moment I don't know who is going to be my enemies, but a war's coming. I guess Ned doesn't sound awfully French. A war's coming, Fred. I do not know where, Frederick. But it's coming. Also, I want to try and get some trade nodes as well. There are pirates. We are at war with the Barbary states and a couple of other factions like that, so we're going to have to watch out for them. So we'll try and build up a navy. I would like to take out the British at some point. I would like to sort of gain continental French supremacy, like Napoleon, even though we're a fair few years off. But we're under the absolute monarchical rule of Louis XIV, the sun god. We've also got the Enlightenment and stuff to come as well, so that should be fun. So we'll build up a navy, trying to defeat Britain's naval fiscal naval capacity at this time is going to be difficult. So we'll try and seize as many trade nodes as we can, because they're just so valuable to get, but they're kind of hard to hold unless you throw all your might into that, and I just don't know who I'm going to be at war with. I don't particularly want to go to war with Britain just yet, but we'll just have to see how we go. Maybe pushing into Cologne, into the Rhineland, maybe into Württemberg and Stuttgart. The problem is if we go towards like Hanover, they could potentially have alliances with Britain because of that sort of royal line. I think even in this time period, there was a royal connection between Hanover and the Crown of England. Okay, so Sweden want a military alliance. They're not at war with anyone, but they have trade rights with myself and Britain. I'm going to accept this, seeing that Peter I wouldn't accept mine, and the Marathas want an alliance as well. I would prefer Maratha supremacy in India over, example, the Mughals, because if the Mughals gain a footholding in India, it does drag in sort of Muslim Ottoman expansion and conquerness as well. Maratha seems to have more contention with sort of the British. So a couple of wars have broken out. The Ottomans are at war with the Austrians. The Austrians are at war with the Poles. The United Provinces, they're not American. Poland. Oh, wow, there's a lot of wars breaking out here. Wowee, Prussia and the Poles. Okay, so looks like people have staked their claim. Now, I don't actually own Upper and Lower Louisiana, which I'd love. Research and tech-wise, we want to try and go down and get as many military buffs as well. Bayonets, forming squares from cavalry charges, file by rank as well, along with canister upgrades and sort of farming. Okay, we've actually landed between a couple of trade nodes here, so hopefully we can claim some. So some of my fleet has arrived in the Ivory Coast. Can't even say that properly. I was gonna be real smart, real French, and be like, "Oh, we're in the Côte d'Ivoire." If I do say so myself. Maybe we could try and. I wish there was a mod to like have Australia in the campaign. Like, I love taking Australia in EU4. It's so fun. But maybe, yeah, you should be able to go to New Caledonia, maybe, which is off the coast of Australia. Never been. Heard it's beautiful. Sounds good, but not with Rona going around. I don't know what's going on. We're down at the coast of Brazil as well, south of French Guiana, and we're in the Strait of Madagascar here as well. I would imagine it'd be quite hard to sort of mod in a theatre of war, but I don't know how hard it would be to mod in Australia. Surely there must be a mod for it. Pirates are here though in the Madagascar Strait, so that's not good. We'll try and open up as many trade nodes as we can. Whoa! Welcome to the top of the turn, guys. Great Britain has declared war upon us. We're slowly building up our colonial and French forces, but Britain has declared war upon us. Wow, this is going to be a huge war. Who stands and fights? Sweden have refused, but we are now at war with Great Britain. William III allies with Prussia. The Dutch have now broken out. The 100 Years' War is back on the menu, boys. Okay, so firstly, we're going to have to protect our overseas colonies. We border with the British in Calcutta in India. We border them in Canada to the United States. We also are quite close to Britain itself. If we can somehow bypass Britain's Grand Navy, that'll be good. And it looks like pirates are attacking us. Oh, it looks like the British have sent an army down to the Windward Islands. France and Sweden have broken their alliance. Damn you! They sided with the British. So it looks like we're not going to have too many Eastern allies. Mostly the Poles, by the look of it. So, we'll try... I was looking actually to sort of maybe go against the Iroquois, but it looks like we're going to be focusing with the British. Like I said, we've got to be careful in Empire because it's a little bit harsh. We only have one province defending France. Like there's Bordeaux, Toulouse, Lyon. There's so many fantastic French cities, even Marseille. It's kind of a shame that we're so vulnerable like that. So I'll try and muster up some men to try and push for Kolkata. I'll send my army that was going against the Iroquois to potentially go to Moose Factory. And I had this army actually going for Cologne and Rhineland here. But now we're rotating to Normandy. Okay guys, welcome to the top of the turn. So the British have actually landed here with Cornelius Rafferty in the Windward Islands. It looks like the British are going to come up against us. So we outnumber them slightly. However, they have unit supremacy and variety. 1 cannon, 2 horses. Let's get stuck into them. Tis well. George Washington, first U.S. President. Rightio then guys, welcome to the battle map. Let's get stuck into it. What I love about Darthmod is just the huge maps for it. So let's see what we're working with here. We do have numerical supremacy, but not by much. Deployables wise in this defense, we can make some caltrops and put them down, which is going to be useful. In Darthmod itself, we're fighting on the early campaign. I do have some sound buffs as well. I do prefer no forts where we can. There are still forts in the game, but it's mostly due to upgrades rather than anything. So we've got some caltrops down and some defensibles. So it looks like the 1st Regiment of the Colonial Dragoons are pushing forward, along with some great British pikes. They have artillery, cavalry supremacy. Incredibly early on in this, we're going to struggle in this fight. We're not favoured to win it, but this is the defence for the Windward Isles. So let's try and match things up here. If we get a couple of good volleys up, we might be able to do it, but there already seem to be raining artillery fire down upon us, and especially on this difficulty. It's actually, the thing is with Empire, already with the value changes in Darthmod making it difficult, but as the difficulty goes up compared to other Total Wars, so does the accuracy. For example, so when you play on a very, very hard difficulty for Empire, your accuracy decreases while the enemy's increases. So you've got to be careful and mindful of that. So I don't know how particularly we're going to go here, because they're going to match us musket for musket, but cavalry and artillery is going to be the play. So we'll allow our 1st regiment there. We'll allow the other colonials to try and pick on the 2nd and 1st regiment here. Come on guys, freedom for France! These men have lived in the Windward Isles for quite some time. We already seem to be wavering the 5th regiment here. The cavalry's trying to hit me on the right, while the 7th Regiment of Colonial Militia has to stop the pikes coming in. The British have seized the initiative already, are trying to flank and wrap around. We'll try and match that, but there's not going to be too much we can do, not being able to form square. So maybe reform and try and get some shots off. We should have damaged those pikes a lot more. Unfortunately, that unit got caught dragging forward. Quickly turn. At least form up and face them. And now the pikes of the British are clashing with the French colonial forces. It looks like those men that came back, fled, have come back now. And now we're facing the colonial dragoons. So the first battle of the new French and British grand rivalry is occurring in the Caribbean. Okay, they're now routing slightly. Because even Britain's technically difficult at this as well, because they're not an absolute monarchy like we have with Louis XIV, the sun god incarnate, I like to call him, the Sun King. But yeah, they have like a constitutional one. Oh, what's this? Oh, heroic death. No! That's not good, and now that's buckling. We didn't get the RNG there of killing their general first. And now we're wavering. Yeah. She's all over Red Rover. My army is now mostly in a full retreat. It's a shame. I don't think we can come back from this one. Look how quickly they buckled as well. That's this difficulty for you. So the British took the Windward Islands and now are in a full-scale search and destroy for French naval capacity. So it looks like... I wasn't even planning to go to war with Britain for like so long, but they've attacked us within the first couple of terms. Damn you, Britain! Oh, you despicable man. Oh, they're actually like running us down here to the border of the map. Oh, come off it. William the Third. Well, let's try and get some payback. So we lost the Windward Islands. Our alliance is broke, which is a shame. Okay, so hopefully French Guiana doesn't get taken. Oh, what? Moose Factory got taken? Oh, come off it. I wanted them damn beaver pelts. I don't know why I said that with an American accent, because the British were renowned for, and French for those quality beaver pelts. We'll try and build a secondary garrison in French Guiana where we can to defend it, but look, I didn't want to do this, but looks like we're going to have to try and invade London. We have 2 stacks. We have a small navy inside, so we should be able to push over if we're quick enough and lucky. So we'll move 1 full stack over the channel. I definitely feel like it should be tremendously hard to cross the channel. It's a little unrealistic going under the coat of night. Like in EU4, it is such a pain to amphibiously attack the British with their such large naval capacity. Like I remember this stat. I constantly remember this stat, that HMAS Victory was the cost of 40 cotton factories or something insane. Like their physical naval capacity, Britain, it was just insane in this time period. So we're sieging London now. We're going to have to fight them on the field. Claude de Villars against John Churchill. So let's do a quick save and a hard save. I don't know why I said Churchill with an American accent. Well, his mother was American. The Winston. But regardless, we have 4,800, 3,000 reinforcing. They have 7,001, mostly made up of line infantry. We do have artillery, cavalry supremacy. So if we're lucky here today, we might be able to cut off the head of the British snake. Okay, let's line up and face them. So let's make a strong, long front line. Cavalry on the left and right. So we've got 3 units of artillery. I want to eventually get 4 sort of horse carted artillery. And we have 4 units of cavalry for now. So let's move you guys here. We still don't have fire by rank, nor square and some additional bonuses, so going up against a major faction this early on might be easier said than done. Now, from what I can remember in Empire, if we defeat the British, then the 13 colonies will be liberated and ushered in will be a new country, the United States, the US of A. Alright, so we'll try and move our artillery here to try and get some high ground. It's foggy. There's a lot of foliage on the battlefield. It's not the best topography for muskets, but we'll make work of it. It's currently a 50-50, maybe even slightly within their favour. But the French have sallied over with what, 8,000 men against the British. We have a massive 16,000 man battle within the first few turns. My army's made up of mostly frontline infantry with some militia, but my cavalry and artillery are going to be doing most of the work for this one. Looks like the British have broken up into 3 distinct army groups using the terrain, stone walls, and the city or maybe outskirts of London in the defence, and then trying to move through the tree line as well. Alright, so they're alright. Getting some shots off here. You can be pushed up and deployed higher up. It's going to be a little bit of time before the British make their way over here. That's what I love about Darthmod, is because they're such large maps. Like, it's going to take quite some time for them to come over here, and we're going to try and pepper them, rain fire and death upon them. And we seem to be getting some pretty decent shots off here as well. And they seem to be throwing their militia forward and taking most of the casualties. I do kind of think it's a little bit ridiculous in Darthmod that artillery has unlimited ammunition. A little bit ridiculous. There should be some limit, because what tends to happen is if you have artillery supremacy, they tend to try and close the distance down and stop it. So they are coming, but it's going to be a little bit of time. We've also got some lancers on the left and right. The British seem to be holding and maintaining their position for now. We could move up with my cavalry. Maybe even my front line, perhaps. Just to get a little bit closer to the artillery. If they're moving on the march, so should we. Rightio, man. Move up. Right, the cavalry can go there as well. So they seem to be trying to break things up here and split their army in two. Oh, I thought that was a bit of a wayward shot, but it's actually come out alright here. Continue to pepper them and fire them where you can. Try and get my artillery that are sitting on the right there to focus that. I wonder historically who Claude de Villars was. I'll move my my infantry further back to protect my artillery, because I don't want them necessarily getting picked and hit. So the British are advancing, like I said, to close the distance. However, they've got some firelock armed citizenry that have either come in as reinforcements, but they look incredibly exposed. My artillery's still making work of it. We're still holding our strong, long front line. A strong, long, staunch front line. Oh, I love that meme going around. Alright. 5th Regiment and 11th pushing up. They might be able to get a decent defensive position near that barn. But the French 1st Lancers are about to push on. They're taking some artillery fire. And musket. But the French cavalry is charging in. And they already seem to be routing. If we can wrap around them, the more the better. Oh, what's this? Oh, the 2nd Regiment of Horse has gone right in to the 9th and 4th French Light Infantry. Now, we've got to be quick here because this might have been a little bit of a bait. Ah! So, there was 300 men in that flintlock citizen. We have to pull out here. We only killed 50 in a charge, but now we're copping volley after volley of proper militia to garrison. Oh, I thought we might have had a canister shot, because I'm so used to playing as a different time period. I did have a look at playing as a late campaign in this. I usually play as a late campaign. I think I played as a late campaign in my Russian campaign, because I like to have the United States there. But settings, the French and British are so intertwined historically due to it. I wanted to try and liberate the colonies for myself in this. These guys shouldn't be firing. So we haven't got a canister shot just yet. Those guys are getting way too close to my artillery for my liking, so we'll halt and move them back. So if you do play as a late campaign, the US are there, right? But you're dragged into so many wars. It's quite ridiculous. I think you're even opposed to Spain because there's the whole Bourbon Spain French debacle, which plagued Napoleon, from what I can remember, in his time. So it looks like the British are sort of drip feeding their muskets forward. We seem to be holding the line quite well. Those militia there are really closing the distance here. Whoa, they've gotten a little bit close there for my liking. Yeah, pull further back there instead of towards the front line. I want to protect this artillery. The artillery offensive is now basically over. They're pouring a lot here, and my regiment cavalry is trying to break that down. So the 5th is attacking this, the 4th can attack that, and we'll try and get these guys to flank and envelop. They haven't got the best unit cohesion in this fight. We'll try and get rid of that artillery. I haven't been paying too much attention of it, but I don't think it's been doing too well. They're now routing. Alright, we'll get my cavalry to try and neutralize that artillery bunker. The British seem to be trading more within the center with mine. Even the Darthmod musket sounds and smoke makes a huge difference to the vanilla definitive edition of the game. Yes, I don't know what the go was in that Russian campaign, because a couple of you guys did identify that, hang on, this doesn't look exactly like Darthmod, but it kind of does, but it also isn't. What I did is I updated my computer, and maybe I transferred some stuff as well, but yeah, it took me so long to get Darthmod working. I do recommend some new tutorials, because the last update was, what, 2013, 2012, which is understandable. Darth went on to do make his own game, which is cool. Isn't it Ultimate General or something? I've never actually played it, but I've heard good things about it. Something in Gettysburg as well. Alright, we'll pull you further back here. Alright, they seem to be holding in the left and centre, and we seem to be trading for now, so it's a little bit of contention there. Get some artillery fire. So the British, probably musket-wise, they probably outnumber. They probably beat us, like equipment-wise. But yeah, I do recommend checking out a fair few tutorials for installing Darthmod. within like the last 1 or 2 years, because I had to bloody check some. Because it was stuffing up. It just adds so many layers. When you got steam, and then so many other moving stuff as well. But I got it working, which is fantastic. So maybe we should do some more Darthmod on the channel. Okay, we seem to be holding and trading with the not British. Yeah. Quite well. I think I can call it there. So it's still only 50-50. I've given the order for some of my men to charge. We are splitting up, but we should be okay if the prior fight has been anything. My cavalry's been really put to task in this. I would wish the cavalry charges were a little bit more satisfying in this. But no matter. London will fall to the French. But I'm also worried about their allies, to be honest. The Dutch have their own colonial ambitions themselves. But I guess it makes sense. Colonialism versus Protestantism at this time as well. The religious contention is rife throughout the world. But if you'd like me to do some more Darthmod, let me know. I still haven't played that Great War mod in quite some time. Maybe that's worth to go back to. From what I can remember, it's not. But I have played as the British, the United States, Russia, and a fair few others. But a lot of you guys, there was a bit of, there was a couple of options I could have played as for this. I went with the French just because of Louis the XIV, the Sun King, because he has a really cool sort of life and story. And France in this time period is just so cool and interesting. Obviously, trying to hold and maintain our colonial territory. We could flip away from Louis's absolute monarchical rule. But we want to bring enlightenment. We want to bring sophistication back to France where we can. Yeah, so I could have gone with Spain, because Spain's quite interesting in this time period as well. They have a lot of territory in the New World. So trying to hold on to that Mexican territory would be cool. I wonder if war will break out against them. Spain, quite close to us. We could push over the Pyrenees. The Dutch as well. Seeing they ally with Britain quite easily and early. Fighting in India. So overall, they seem to be broken in the centre. My cavalry did well going around the back. But the British seem to be halting our progression. So they pushed up against our long, strong, staunch front line. And they pulled further back towards the town and are just ripping us in some areas. We surrounded that, which is good. Try and focus down in on this. So, from what I can remember, my favourite army build, how I like to play in Empire, is 4 cavalry, 4 artillery, the rest, the better the quality line infantry, the better. And then we'll sit the general back. We seem to be hammering the 1st Regiment of Foot here. And they are still holding. You gotta give it to the British. They're loyal. They are disciplined. They believe in their crown and country. But at the end of the day, they are fighting for their country. They're fighting for the salvation of England. Once we take London, we can rush Windsor Palace and force King William III to abdicate his crown and country to Louis XIV. The first French king on the English throne for like centuries, I would think. But even the 9th Regiment Royals, we've got a couple of these sprinkled in. They still can't seem to take out this 1st Regiment of Foot. We are playing on I don't know what the... Is it extreme? I think it's the max. Whatever the max army size is, we're playing on that. Running down the last of the British here. My artillery's still bombarding, but we have completely... Hey! Oh, reinforcements have arrived. Oh! I completely forgot I didn't even need them. Oh, crikey! Okay, right. I wasn't even thinking about that. So they had about 7... Oh, maybe they didn't because they haven't had their reinforcements coming. Maybe they had a little bit less. But they outnumbered us a hell of a lot more. And we didn't even have our reinforcements in. Oh, now our boys are starting to trickle in. But it hasn't come up yet. But I would say the battle for Britain is won. But that's what you get for war decking me so early on. I wanted to go down sort of... Like, I love expanding and securing the colonies in the Empire. I think that's the most enjoyable. That's what I did in my Russia campaign. We secured the Ukraine, we destroyed the Ottomans, but setting up a Russian sort of states, because we would have had like Alaska at the time, and in and India as well, is a lot of fun. But for this, I wanted to sort of create Napoleon's thing. I wanted to sort of fight the British when they were more sort of built up a bit, but they've made me sort of rush them incredibly early on. You are better in Total War to rush the major factions as possible, because it just makes the campaign so much more easier. Like, if you forget and sort of leave Rome to its own devices, that usually goes not too well. Same with Britain and the Spanish. But we've won there. Let's run down the remaining stragglers. For God's sake, do not refuse the cannon or risk the cannon. Well, I think we've knocked out John Churchill. So we had 7.9, they had 7.1. We lost 1.1, and we destroyed their entire army. Crikey. Looking at the casualties sustained and inflicted, some of the line infantry got 700 there. My artillery did well. And London has fallen to the French. England is now ours. Oh, I was not expecting, like, it's always like, you have a plan in your head. Like, I personally, before I play a Total War campaign, I'm like, oh, I think I might play as France. I want to do this, I want to do this, do that. I want to go this way. I wasn't expecting, in this first episode, when starting up the Let's Play, to have control of London. I didn't want to do it. I wanted to sort of take Europe and focus on the colonies in these first couple episodes. But I guess we were in a full-on war in England. Alright, so we're going to continue upon the initiative. London now burns. Scotland and Dublin should be liberated, in my opinion. If I was to peace out with the British, would they be interested, I wonder? Probably not. Alright, so Claude de Villars can push further north, and we'll have our second garrison there. They caught us at such a bad opportunity as well, because I was solely focusing on recruitment. It looks like they're sending an army to Scotland now, but I was ready to go against like Württemberg, maybe even like Hanover to Stuttgart, and more the Germanic states, because in that little intro it does recommend you kind of do that. Yeah, whoever, because at the moment a German federation is far away, and whoever sort of can dominate the Germanic states has a massive control in Central Europe. It's usually either Austria, Prussia, or Poland, Lithuania to do that. So we've got a royal there, Marianne. We've also got some other claimants as well. Toulouse is, yeah, I guess the king can die, I guess, but whatever. So it looks like they've got some units in Scotland here. We'll push north once we get our movement back. I'm always sort of wary about losing France, but we'll push to Scotland here. And we should be able to take that. Henry's trying to push up. How else is everything else going? So French Guiana is not doing alright. I guess we'll send this full stack back down to Canada to rally up. We aren't at war with the Iroquois, but we could open up a front there. We have just shy of a stack and a half. But the Iroquois are quite strong. Calcutta is still under British and French control. Okay guys, welcome to the top of the turn. We're going to be able to push and siege out Edinburgh here today. They've moved in a small force, but nothing to contend with Claude de Villars. What? So, somehow, why has this happened? Ah, far out. So, with the loss of London, I guess the British royal family has fled to the Americas. They control New York, New England, Maine. Oh, wow. Okay, so we're going to have to trespass over Iroquois territory. Will they give me some? Even though they're their allies? Nope. Okay, so I'm kind of fortunate I didn't push up to Moose Factory because we might have lost Canada. But we're defending Canada, India where we can, and trying to conquer the UK. Okay, guys, welcome to the top of the turn. The British have blocked the port in London. But that's crazy. That the 13 colonies has fallen to Britain control. We'll try and make them surrender. They didn't. Henry's got some mortars inside. But a clear victory. Now that we've liberated the rather large Catholic population in Scotland, I guess we go to Ireland. Would they want peace? No, they're not even interested. I just thought taking Scotland and London might give us a bit of a breather to build up and repair. And especially with war potentially happening in the Americas. Man, oh man, they're still going on their navy tirade. Nicolaus Lefebvre is being intercepted by Mervis Bainley. So, looks like my divided navy has been smacked. Savoy's declared war upon us now. We've got allies of Württemberg now. Seeing as we're not going there, I made the decision to ally with them. Sweden, Spain, Westphalia, Poland and Louisiana. So, looks like a war with Savoy and Genoa has now broken out. We're going to have to keep an eye on our territory in the southern French border. It takes a while for them if they were to take Paris. But they can push into Marseille. Okay. Welcome to the top of the turn, guys. Scotland, London has fallen to French occupation. We've replenished and repaired where we can, and now we're pushing for Ireland with Claude de Villars, who is the main general, a trusted general of Louis XIV. We're going to try and siege out London. Sorry, not London. Dublin, where we can. Savoy are mustering on the Marseille border. We must protect it. So we might have to send an army further south. My ports are getting raided left, right and centre. I'm going to have to eventually put in some slops to defend it, which I probably should have done earlier on. Just this war with Britain caught me a little bit unawares. Do they want peace? Like Ireland's about to fall. They still don't want peace. Alright. Whatever. Alright. So we've demanded... Yeah. Oh, we actually are outnumbered. Look, you know what? You gotta risk it for the biscuit. Brisket or... baguette. I don't know what we would call it. Whoa! A nation arises. The United States. What? Ah. Really? Florida, Savannah have gone to Kentucky. Great Britain has been destroyed. I don't know if I like that. Why would Britain be destroyed? I know we've taken the UK, but it looks like they seized back control of the 13 colonies there. But I guess we've done it within an hour here today. Great Britain has been defeated in the first episode of my Total War Empire Definitive Edition Darthmod series. And we've liberated the United States. Send them Lady Liberty. Send it over. But it does look like Georgia, Florida, Kentucky territory has gone to the natives. Wowee. Okay, but well, I guess that's it for the British. Well, on that note, I'm going to have to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching the first episode of my French campaign. I've had an absolute blast. I didn't predict it going this way, to be perfectly honest. Like I said, I wanted to sort of fulfill Napoleon's continental dream before sort of going against the British, and now they're destroyed. We fought with bravery, and now, with the help of Claude and Louis XIV, Britain has fallen. So let me know in the comments where I should go now. We've basically seized the British Navy and its oil resources. We're going to be able to go after... Well, they've definitely got Indian and American territory to go with, so maybe we should start some colonial French expansion. Now, with Britain gone, there should be a huge power vacuum in the colonies, but maybe even in Europe as well. I do have my eye against some of the German states, maybe even Spain, the Netherlands eventually as well. But yeah, stay tuned for more videos on the channel. I hope you enjoyed this first episode. Take care. Much love from Australia. Peace out, guys.
Unfortunately, guys, it is time to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know in the comment section down below your feedback for the series. And if you would like to see more, that's the best way to ensure more content. Leave a dislike if you're not enjoying the series. Check out my social media links if you want to stay connected with me. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all in the description below. Patreon and merchandise link in the description below, along with the Steam group. Come and join the community on Steam. And on that note, unfortunately, I have to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching once again. Make sure to take care of yourselves. Go out and have a fantastic rest of your day. My name has been Simpzy. Goodbye.